Welcome back to Without a Doubt, the a podcast where we celebrate living life authentically and organically as ourselves. We're the ones who believe in creating our own paths and living our truths out loud. Join in on an honest and open conversation about self-discovery and growth. I'm your girl Mad, your host, and your sprinkle of reality. I'm here to remind you that it's okay to live life differently and that you don't have to be what is expected of you and that your happiness matters. And yes, even us baddies who know this about ourselves need this reminder too. A tiny reminder, you can catch these on Instagram and YouTube at Without a Doubt, the podcast. If you love these and you're looking forward to Wednesdays and tuning in, share this with your friends, tag me, do the things, it helps, trust me. You being here is more appreciated than you even know because hello, baby, this is episode number 15. What the fuck? Clapping for myself, clap, 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 yay girl, you go. And speaking of clapping for myself, this past week, I finally got into playing tennis, which has been in the group chat for a few months. When my friend said she had a tennis court in her neighborhood that was calling her name. She lives directly across from the tennis courts and she threw this idea out and it's just started wiggling in my mind and I was like, we need to start playing. We really didn't have the extra money, neither of us, for this extracurricular activity, but don't let that be the reason why I was holding us back. We just also probably didn't think we were going to be great. However, I did find 3 rackets at the thrift store and new cans of tennis balls. So I think that was the universe sign to tell me it was time to take her up on the offer. And at this point, weeks have gone by. I've got the tennis rackets and the balls and we're texting and I've got my period and she's got her period and we just never made it until this past week. We went out there like fucking fools and had just a jolly old time. We embraced the fact that we need to practice more, obviously. And we figured if we would just keep playing more and worked on it, we could practice hitting the ball. We'll eventually get better, but we were just enjoying the movement of tennis. Not to toot my own horn though, I think I'm pretty good. I played at some point for a few years in my preteen with my uncle and we used to do it every evening. We used to play every evening. It's like muscle memory came right back with the tennis. I really enjoyed playing all those years ago and it was just a reminder like, girl, you like this, keep doing it. My point being is that we all let these things that we actually might like doing fall to the wayside because life gets in the way. We get too busy, sucked into work, family, time affairs, and we suffer. The brain is missing all those little neurotransmitters that are connecting to one another, doping them up and sparking up the creativity because life gets in the way. All those little hobbies and new things you try are connecting neurotransmitters to one another and telling you, hey, this is fun. They're firing up. I was once at the beach and this dude was windsurfing or kite surfing and we started talking and he asked me what my hobbies were. And I was like, gardening and thrifting, which are my hobbies. But those are like my grandma aesthetic hobbies. And I thought more about it and I realized like at that time, that's actually all I was really doing. At one time I had other hobbies that were like skydiving, traveling, endurance races, water activities, like going to the beach and just doing things. And, you know, I even love paddleboarding. There's one hanging off my wall. We have 2 of them, but somehow we just never seem to find the time. And then at some point, I also turned into a no person. Life is going to pass you by. We literally live 12 miles from the beach. And we always talk about going to walk the beach at night to look for turtles that are laying eggs. And it's happened one time in the 8 years that Kendra and I have been together. That is so pathetic. We talk about paddleboarding all the time and the days and the weeks go by and we just never do it. Time itself is a thief, but I'm also like, we could just go tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and we never go. Before you know it, it's been 8 years and only one time you walk the beach to go watch turtles lay eggs. And then you're still going to keep finding yourself saying, yeah, we should do that. This is not the no situation. This is just a reminder that we are easily distracted from what we truly might want to enjoy and do, but we allow ourselves to make an excuse for why we're not actually pursuing the puddles of happiness. Rather, we're just waiting in the rain complaining that we just never have time. As humans, this life, we have to find pockets of inspiration and joy. Sometimes saying yes to these puddles and pockets will allow you to dig deeper to find a more advanced level of self. Saying yes can show and prove to you that you're capable of more when we've just put a mental block or an ideal that we just can't or we shouldn't. I saw this reel recently on Instagram. Kanye West was on an interview and he was mentioning something along the lines of what he calls the coffee table effect. In life, we get told no for so many things, like how we shouldn't sit or stand on a coffee table. It's for coffee or for drinks, We are told to conform to ideals and standards. And while this is how we actually do keep appropriation in life and consideration for others, it also begins the building of no's. How sitting on a coffee table or standing on a coffee table isn't necessarily where your ass or feet belong, but it technically could be something you sit or stand on. How many things in our lives are we told no to so that we can fit in and also accommodate society's ideas of what is actually correct? Like, for example, we could even have dessert for dinner. That's just like one of those things that we've been told no our whole lives. You're going to spoil your dinner if you eat dessert, but who cares? Don't play in the rain. You're going to get sick. That's not always true. Dance in the rain, play in the rain. These are just things that we have been told to avoid us from the risks that could happen. Standing on a coffee table, it could break. Eating dessert before dinner will spoil your dinner. That is an absolute truth. And playing in the rain could get you sick. But these are not always the case. I think you do get the gist. The coffee table effect isn't, at some point, you got to break the boundaries of that. We start to turn into no people due to society's ideas of what and who we should actually be. We turn into no people when we learn risk, when we allow fear to step in. And then we also turn into no people when we're tired, burnt out, lacking shine, and as we age. I also hear people say, when I get older, I'm going to travel. I'm going to do this. But my thoughts are always like, well, what if you don't ever get to be old? Growing old is a luxury. I recently cried to Kendra about how I'm not necessarily afraid to die, but I'm just more afraid that I'm not going to be able to live out my life. I'm not going to be old. I'm not going to be able to see or accomplish everything that I dream. That I'm not going to be able to get to be to an age where I feel like I made a difference. We get tied up in the same routine. We become creatures of habits and we become creatures of our comforts. We start to live life on autopilot. And how often have you driven home and thought later about how you don't even remember the drive? We become numb to this routine. When this happens, it's easier, in my opinion, to get caught up in the simple day-to-day and just crawl back into your shell rather than get uncomfortable. Coming from the Cancer queen herself, Little Miss Crab me, yes, I'm born July 5th. So for me, when I am uncomfortable, going into my shell and just hiding under my little rock makes me feel best. But if you can get uncomfortable and learn something new, maybe start finally saying yes again to something that you've been wanting to start, you might find something more. We start to say no so that we can avoid being embarrassed, failing, or looking like a fool. But like I said earlier, doing these things and getting new projects off the ground and maybe even adding into your routine is how you're going to get out of this mundane day-to-day crap. I know for me, there's a ton of things I've been wanting to start. For one, it was this podcast. And voila, it is here. I could have kept saying no one's going to listen. But then I was like, yes, girl, you go. Get that podcast out and let the world hear what you have to offer, even if it only helps one person. And if I wouldn't have done that, I would still be feeling like, man, I should start a podcast. That could be a podcast. But now I have one, and I tell people I'm a podcaster. I'm like, hello, we're 15 episodes in here. Look at me go. This is a hobby for now until this little baby turns into a toddler and then a teenager and then grows up to more. And of course, it would have been easier for me to say no rather than learn a bunch of new shit. But I wouldn't be sitting in this position if I had said no. A few other things that I've been wanting to do, yet I haven't because I'm a no-ho. I allow my excuses because I'm a human to get the best of me, but I would love to start doing shuffle classes, like EDM dance shuffle, learning how to dance to the EDM music. I'm a little festival girly, and I think it would be fun, but my mind is like, you need a buddy, you need a friend, so hit me up if you're interested in that. I would also really love to learn ASL, American Sign Language, and I know a few words here and there, but I've been trying, like we've been talking, and I've been like, I really want to do that, but I'm just not ready to commit. I just mentally feel like I have a block on that. But then I'm like, there's apps and there's a tons of other ways to learn. So you can ignore me on my excuses on that one. I would love to get into ceramics classes, crafting with other like-minded crafting people, maybe even join a book club. But then I'm like, okay, activate homebody mode. And I just want to stay home. Welcome to my life. Welcome to my brain. Welcome to the world of Madison. But we need to remember that time is going to keep moving. And we have to take advantage of time and whatever time we're actually given, because it's going to run out. At some point, you might even say, I really wish I would have tried that. Is it easier to say no? Fuck yes, it is. Especially with hobbies and other things that might spark your interest. It's easier to say no. I think, though, it's going to be more important that you at least try, because you're never going to know what comes of it. exploring more avenues within the art, music, sports realm, traveling to see new places, gaining experiences. These are the things that are going to shape us into the people that we are becoming or who we are in general. Changing and evolving is how we start to level up. Learning new things is how we round ourselves out to be a more helpful human in this world. Creating art, ideas, and creating more life is how we continue to do the work we need in order to build into this world. Leaving you on this note, don't let the coffee table effect hold you back. Create your own rules, spark your own magic, and light the path. Be a revolutionary of your own life and charge forward with purpose. Find the yes moments, ignite the light to illuminate your path, and spread the love. Spread it, baby. You got that shit. Without a doubt, you are a badass, and don't you forget it. Next episode, I've got a surprise. I'm really excited for this one, so I can't wait to speak to you then. Peace out. XOXO, your girl Mad, signing off.